Hi everyone. In this video, I want to talking about business process management roadmap. We will talk about a methodology for established business process management roadmap. In each steps, we need to know what we should do, what we should prepare, which technique or tools we should use, and I introduce all of the leads you need to establish business process roadmap. Just remember, you should consider that you should tailor sorry you should tailor these tools and methodology and techniques tailored with your needs and requirement. All we'll talk about all aspects of BPM that you need to consider for successful establish actually your organization. As you can see, we face with 6 steps to establish business process management, and here you can see each step are very detailed. We talk about just about the lead of each detail, and I should say that I will record the course and for YouTube channel actually, and talk about the by more detail about each step of this life cycle. This life cycle is rooted to my experience in more than 20 companies for established business process management, or teaching more than 50 company BPM and process mining in my whole experience about the business process management, combined with any methodology all around the world. And I try to design a agile methodology when we introduced to, for example, framing. We understood that the process architecture and process modeling are in the same step, but two different flaws. So let's dive into each steps and talk about the detail of each step just in one up down lower. The first step is preparation. In preparation, we try to prepare the organization to accept the BPM, to accept the process-oriented view and attitude. Talk about the behavior, talk about the role and responsibility, and structure of BPM team, and everything that need to prepare the organization. Probably design a poster, etc. Dive into detail. The first step is a positioning. We can use 5 techniques for positioning. When we talk about the positioning, I mean that we should create a special position for BPM that organization can understand the value of BPM, or how BPM can create value, and or what is the value that BPM can create for us. And any like this, you can see the first video about the benefit of business process management. I'll talk about some real case story in first, I guess, and second, my video in YouTube channel. About 5 steps and more detail about this mind map. We will talk in our course, BPM course, that I record in the future. The second is about the persuading and convenience technique. For example, one technique is named Golden Bridge. Do you know what's the Golden Bridge? By Golden Bridge, you should create value in short time. If you succeed, create value by BPM in short time, you can collaborate organization with the processes. So you need about the other 9 techniques. What's this and how can help the organization? The third is forming a strategy and executing committee. I mean, a steering committee. You should create a steering committee and executing committee. We need two committee for established business process management by help of our employees, our colleagues. Two committee. A steering committee. We need a steering committee to make a decision. We need executive committee because there are coordinator, there are representative of each functional unit, and we train them. So we should create two committee, and also you should talk about the role and responsibility of each committee and the period of time that need to gather together and talk about the BPM and the deliverable and the result of BPM, etc. Or for example, you want to approve your process architecture. You need to approve by a steering committee. You want to identify processes. When you want to identify processes, the level is donor. So you need to talk with executive committee. Okay. The next is training, special training for the manager. When we talk manager, we can say same as a steering committee or CEO or vice president should know about the benefit of BPM and about the value that can be created by BPM. This seminar can be long between 2 or 3 hours, not longer, because the manager or CEO are very busy and want to do many other works. 2 or 3 hours is enough. In this time, you should at the first talk about the benefit of BPM, why BPM, which problem can be solved by BPM, what's the result of BPM in. You need to talk about the example company with real data that establish business process management in your industry. For example, you are in steel, you should find the company in steel that establish business process management and talk about the result. You are in insurance, in banking, find a insurance company or bank and talk about the result of BPM when their establishment. Also, you can use my last video. I talk about industry and benefit of BPM to each industry. The next is training for employee. You should prepare the mindset of employee, like the manager, to establish business process management. You should change their view. If you do not any step of this step, probably you will face with high resistance when you want to implement the processes. So you should be serious about each step in this phase in preparation. In training for employee, you should talk about the benefit of BPM and process oriented for the employees. You should tie between their personal goal, organizational goal, and process goal. And at the last of this training, you should talk about the BPMM a bit just and read some and display some diagram, BPD I mean, and talk about that. It can be at least 4 hours. The training for employees can be long at least for 4 hours. You can talk for 90 minutes, and after that a short rest, and after that again for 90 minutes, and after that short rest, again continue. They should understood the concept of process, in their training course. And the seminar for manager, they should understood the difference between units and business area. It's very important for us that the functional unit is different with business area. After that, you should create a procedure for BPM. In this procedure, we should talk about each step of business process management establishment, and who is responsible for each step, who should create, who should confirm, who should approve, and what's your requirement and assumption for each step. And at the last, you should attach some format. For example, if you want to design process architecture, you need to create a format or form, or after that you want to design processes by which standard, by which tools you want to write a KPI or a stakeholder analysis or SIPOC, I mean for ID. You need to create a format or form related to your organization and attach in this procedure. Or you want to improve the processes, you need a format again. You want to translate processes to IT solution, again you need a format that can be a common language, create a common language between the process analyst and your IT man. And talk about some special role like process manager. Who is process manager? Who is process owner? What's different between process owner and process management, and what they should do? It's very important to determine in this step in your BPM procedure. You should investigate the relation between structure and BPM, or your strategy and BPM, or also you should read all of document in your organization that was created or already was created, and try to determine a scope for BPM. Probably you need to investigate other methodologies, but I guess this methodology can be very useful. Just you should tailor this methodology for yourself. And you should search about the BPM selection. Actually, tool selection is very important. Before designing the processes, you know by which tools you want to implement the processes, because the implementing tools can be effective on your process designing and process modeling. Also, it's very good that you create a process charter. In process charter, you talk about your deliverable, your milestone, assumption, risk, resource that you need, authorities, etc., and signed by a CEO and or vice president. The CEO is better, of course. Among the BPM journey, you need to design poster, you need to create BPM match actually between the employees, because you need to engage the employees with processes concept and BPM concept, and try to motivate them. So you need to use some different tools like training, like poster, like match, like etc. This should be designed specific for your company. And actually, we are designing a BPMG, business process management governance. I try to record a special video because the BPM governance is very important, and talk about by detail about the business process management governance. Now consider here. I want to talk about one important. I said you should talk about the relation between strategy and processes. Now you can hear what is the strategy. Strategy is a path that you want to help you throw from A to B, but the strategy design in higher level of organization. For implementing the strategy, you need to use of resource or operation level, and here you can see a gap. Here you can see a gap. You need a technique to fill the gap, as I said before, and this technique at the same time can be measured by performance, effectiveness, or efficiency. So you need a technique that use resource, and after that do some activity by this resource, align with strategic goal. This is a process definition. In the next video, I meticulously want to talk about the definition of process and BPM. So the process can fill this gap, use the operational level, people, IT, resource, structure, any equipment, and align all of elements to our strategic goal. And we can create a new definition for a strategy. Strategy is a long-term behavior, pay attention, behavior that is achieved through the processes, and by determining a set of action. What's the set of action? Set of action means again processes that are coordinated, they align all activity to our goals with the organization and lead to realization of the goal and achieve the desired output. What's the desired output again? It's our strategic object, our strategic goals. So you should be very curious and sensitive about the relation between the strategy and processes, because the processes should be aligned with our strategic goals. Also, you should pay attention to key action steps. I talk about the project charter. You should write the project charter and obtain commitment from the senior manager, especially your CEO, and also a training course. At the same time, you should create, confirm, and approve the BPM procedure and establish BPM procedure in your organization. Don't forget and don't skip this point. This point is very important, and if you skip this step, you're faced with how resistant in your organization and when you want to implement the processes and the overcoming to resistance. That step is very hard if you skip these points. The next step, second step to establish business process management, is framing and identify. We want to create two special achievement or result in this step: process architecture and process modeling or design. Process architecture and process modeling. Let's talk about some detail. When we talk about the process architecture, we should pay attention some aspect. Let me talk about 2 points. The first is the leveling, which level of process. When we talk about the process architecture, we talk about the business area, process group, and process. 3 level is enough for process architecture, especially when we want to be agile and create result in short time. 3 level. And we categorize the business area in 2 categories: operation category and supportive or managerial category. Operation category means our value chain, like production, like sales and marketing, and supportive level, like human resource, like financial resource. Okay. Now consider here process for process architecture. In addition, I should say that I designed the 13 steps to designing process architecture. I wrote an article about that in my LinkedIn. You can read it and explain by detail, step by step, what they should do. Also, I will talk about how we can design process architecture in our BPM course in YouTube channel. You should investigate your approach to designing process architecture. Is it, for example, a goal approach, reference model approach, or any other approach? But in my side, and based on my experience, I designed more than 10 organizations, BPA for more than 10, process architecture, more than 10 organizations. The reference model approach is very suitable and very faster. It can help us to classify the processes easier. So what you need to choose your methodology. After that, you should know about the business area, process group, and process. It's the leveling of process architecture, as I said. And the next, you should decide the business area and categorize or classify into step. You should know the business area can display your process map in higher level. Probably in each organization is between 10 and 15 business areas. In reference model like APQC, you can see in APQC PCF, cross-functional version, 13 business area, and you can find a specific version for automotive, for insurance, for educational, banking, etc. Framework in APQC. Also, probably you should know about other reference model. APQC is one of them. APQC can be used for manufacturing especially. ESCO can be used for trading company, ITIL for software company, and you can use other reference model like ITAM, VRM, etc. After you designing process architecture, you identify the business area, process group, and processes. You should align the processes with a strategy. Here we should align processes with a strategy. So we should create a matrix, and by scoring determine which processes how much can support our strategic goals. Probably you find processes that should be removed, or you find a goal that there isn't any processes behind there. You should create, born a new processes. For the determine relation between the processes, you can use endo chart. Endo chart is a matrix. You can search about the endo chart or DSM. In engineering systems, they talk about how you can determine the relation between the elements or processes, and by some for example, applying something in matrix, you can simplify the relation between the processes. Or you can use interactive diagram. You, for example, can be a IDFS 0. By IDFS 0, you can determine what is the processes, what is input, and what is the output of processes, and what's the next processes, and determine relationship between the processes. Also, you need to create a specific code for each processes because you should configure the relation between processes, and if one processes will change, which processes can be affected by that one. So you need to create a configuration between the processes. You can use configuration management standard to design this configuration. And after that, you should prioritizing the processes. You identify, for example, 300 processes. Which processes should be the first for starting the establish processes or improve processes? Which of them is the first? You don't know, and you can't just rely on your experience. You should have some criteria, and by criteria and the list of processes, by scoring, you can prioritizing the processes. And at the last, you can go to next step. You can measuring the current state maturity. Probably you should use CMMI, BPM, or other maturity techniques. I want to skip this step. I have a reason. I will talk about that. And the next is modeling the processes. You can use some standards like BPMN, DMN, CMMN. Probably you heard about the BPMN, but what about DMN? What about CMMN? Do you use it? Do you know what's the DMN and how can help you? Or what about the CMMN? Which tools do you want to designing processes by Visio, by Signavio, by Visual Paradigm, by BPMG, by which tools do you want to? You should select the tools for documentation and designing processes. Is different with implementation. It is not the same. And because you need to documentation, analyze the processes, and after that implementation. You need the tools for documentation and analyze the processes. You should select here. And after designing processes, again you need to consider your process architecture, because when you are in designing process architecture, you are in a higher level, and when you design the processes, you know by detail about each processes. So maybe you decided to combine the processes together, or decomposite the processes. So your process architecture can be changed, and you should revising process architecture or interactive diagram or endo chart. What's the you should pay attention before doing process modeling in the operational levels. Processes must be broken down hierarchy and extract business area, process group, and processes. Here, just I want to emphasize that we should pay attention step by step to establish business process management. In this step, the first one is a process architecture. We talked about the process architecture is in 3 levels: business area, process group, and process. Before the modeling the processes, you should determine these three levels and align the processes with your strategy. Okay, and also you should configure the processes and allocate the specific code to each processes. You can use some frameworks or reference model like APQC or SAP framework also can help you. APQC and SAP framework is a common framework that you can use in various industries, and you can see in both websites you can see the structure of the business area, process group, and processes, and compare with your company. Just you should consider that you don't need to be exactly same of the APQC or SAP. Just these frameworks can help you to classify the processes and position the processes on the right hand. Also, if you are a trader company, you can score software company, ITIL, or etc. Also, you can combine this methodology together. For example, use a ITIL, score, and APQC combined together when you want to identify, for example, your IT processes. Use ITIL. When you want to identify to SCM processes, use SCORE, and for other processes use SPQC. Combine three frameworks together, but the APQC and SAP is very common. In APQC also you can see a general, as the name is the APQC PCF cross-functional framework, or a specific, for example, as I said, for automotive, upstream, downstream, education, loan, insurance, banking, etc. The SAP is the same. You can find which industry do you need, and after that you can be deeper and deeper, layer by layer, to find your specific industry and compare with yourself. You should consider that you are a very huge company, probably SAP better, or just a huge company or middle-sized company, APQC can better. As I know, the global company passed from APQC to SAP framework. So in this stage, the middle of the first step, you should create a document, the process architecture. Process architecture should be confirmed by executive committee and approved by steering committee. After that, you should determine which processes should be the first processes for modeling process. As I said, you need some criteria, because you should distinguish the prioritizing of senior managerial leader, but not just rely on your experience. So you need some criteria. Here are some criteria that can be helpful for you. For example, impact on alignment with the strategy or improper function. You can measure the efficiency and effectiveness, the performance of processes, and then you can see here the other criteria. You should write the name of each processes. For example, purchase request. Here we should write a score between 1 to 5. Probably you can write 5, 4, 3, 5, 5. After that, you need to calculate a number. We can set the priority number and sort this column, the last column. By sorting last column, The processes will be sorted by prioritizing, and you can select the processes. Just you should think about it. Who should score? Myself, process owner. Who one should score? It's very important. I don't want to ask. I don't want to answer this question. I will talk in my course. Also, I will show some real example about this scoring method. But what's the process modeling? Process modeling means you should draw in a set of activity in a picture, in one page, and also determine the related between activity, and also determine the responsible for each activity. It's the process modeling. And the process modeling, when you want to drawing the processes, you need to create a standard. But why you use a standard? Why you should use a standard? Because when you drawing the processes, everyone that want to read the processes should be know the same thing with you about the processes. So you need to use a standard. The standard can create a common language and also create a facilitate communication, help you to group thinking about specific processes, or create a help to improve the quality of process modeling, or any other benefits. You can use BPMN or EPC. BPMN is very common, and most of companies use BPMN to process modeling. I will talk about a BPMN in our mini course on YouTube. In the second output in this step is BPD, business process diagram. You should design the processes. As I said, you should drawing the processes, determine a set of activity relationship between them, and who is responsible. All of answering this question should be determined, should be displayed by a picture, and all of people when watching this picture should be understood the same thing. So you need a standard like BPMN or EPC to designing the processes, or BPD, business process diagram. Just consideration, the modeling is not just drawing BPMN diagram. By completing the process profile is very important. But how, when we can complete the profile for each processes? Here it's the next step, measurement current state is a phrase that you can create a profile ID for each processes. But what's the profile ID and why we should create profile ID? First, pay attention. You can't manage what you can't measure. Edward Deming. Do you want to control your business, or do you want to control your everything can happen around you? You need to measure. When you can measure, if you have some KPI, you can measure. Which KPI? Some KPIs related to efficiency or effectiveness. So we are talking about some KPIs on processes. Here is some attribute for the profile ID. The first is the aim of each processes. And the first step, we create a table, write name of process, mission and aim of process, position of process in process architecture, and the code of processes, as I said, configuration the processes, the name of process owner, and some usual information. The next, we should talk about some indicator. We should efficiency indicators, design and process efficiency to both two sides. Also, we should determine the formula of indicator. When we talk about the KPI, we need to know that we should create a KPI that we know about the formula, we know about how we can gather data. It's important, some important point on KPI. Also, you need to determine which forms you use in processes. For example, we talk about the purchase to pay processes. The first step, we want to create a purchase request. We fill a form. You should know the name of the form, or at the last of each process, probably you create a report. You should know about the report and write in this document. Consider, before everything, before implementing the processes, before faced with challenges, you think about all aspects of processes. Here, you document another aspect of document. You drawing the processes by BPMN. Now you are recording new data like KPI, like resource that you want to use the processes, like which form or tools, like some limiter or controller for processes. You should document it by profile ID. Also, probably you can do the stakeholder analysis and determine relation between the strategy and analysis and risk of each processes. You can use FMEA or other methodology. Also, you should write SIPOC. You should write a SIPOC. SIPOC, as we know, supplier, input, process, output, customer. You determine the relationship between process and out of process, with other processes, with other people, in out of organization or in organization, but other processes. Just one point about the indicator. In this step, we are in the third step. Organizational indicator are the most important factor to indicate the performance of organization that should be reviewed regularly and over a period of time. Here, one question, just pay attention. You measure the processes. Now you want to decrease the time and decrease the time. When you want to decrease the time, probably lead to reduce the cost. So both are positive and good for organization. Decrease time, reduce cost. But can what about the quality? What about quality? The cost reduction or the decreasing the time can be effect on quality. Is it positive or negative? Just one point. You should balance between four aspects of processes. When you want to improve the processes, you should balance between time, cost, flexibility, and quality. Or probably when you want to increase the quality, you need to spend cost, you need to spend time. It's not good in the first side, but lead to increase the quality. You should balance between four aspects. It means the devil's quadrant, I will talk about in a specific BPM course. In this step, you should know that at the last of this step, you should create a profile ID and use profile ID for each processes as a result of this step. Now pay attention to analysis. When we talk about the analysis processes, consider we design process architecture, prioritizing, drawing processes, modeling processes, document processes by profile ID, as is processes. Now we want to analyze the processes, distinguish bottlenecks and some issue problem about the processes. After that, improving and optimize the processes. Here, just with familiar with some techniques, you should know what you want to do a quantitative or qualitative analysis. It's related to how much data is available. If data is available, like even log, you can use process mining. It's not even for even log, you can use Lean Six Sigma or other techniques, quantitative techniques. If there isn't any data about the processes, you should use qualitative techniques. Here, just I wrote some techniques, common techniques that we use in our BPM project. For example, if process mining or Lean Six Sigma or value flow or profile techniques, or for quantitative, you can see RC like Fishbone, Ishikawa, cause mapping, NERMS, 5Y, etc. or value added technique, Experial or gap analysis and other techniques. Also, Visual Paradigm is a software that can help you to create a RC, crowd, a simulation, export some diagram, but it can help you to analyze the processes. And you should pay attention that you should create a document. I will talk about that. In this document, for improvement the processes, at the first you talk about the problems of process, bottleneck of process you distinguish by process mining, by RCA, any other technique. No important is the quantitative or qualitative. Just you should write the problem and type of the problem. After that, you can do the benchmark, compare your current processes with the best practice processes, and distinguish the gap. You should write a gap. Now you should find solution for the problems and gap, and select the best solution. After that, you can design your optimal processes, favorite processes, to be process. What you should do for implement the to be process. You should design an action plan, and also you should predict some challenges for establish new processes. Here again, you need to create revision for process architecture or interactive diagram or endo chart. Also, you can measure again the maturity and compare your as is and to be maturity. Here you can see the name of some techniques, qualitative and quantitative. Just don't forget that if you have even like the best techniques can be process mining, you should pay attention for process mining. You can use some free open source tools like Prom, PMTK, or buy some tools like Slimes and Disco. You should distinguish which of them is the suitable for you. The best is not suitable. We should find the suitable for ourselves. Also, you should be curious about BA and BPA. BA as an analyst, BPA business process analyst. BA is in higher level of organization, analyze the organization. But when we talk about the BPA, we are talking about the detailed analysis and can lead to born some processes, die some processes, or use training for some processes, update the processes or our software, probably lead to update the software and processes and develop the software. We find some activities that were there isn't enough software at the moment, and we should develop and can help you to standardize the processes, or some solution can be automation the processes, the result of BPA. Also, you should consider one of the important measure of this phase is the adoption of the as-is processes to best practice, as I said, in analysis gap in our document. At the last of this step, you should create a document, process improvement and analysis document. Now let's dive into two last steps: implementation and monitoring and strive BPM. At the first, I want to talk about the implementation document. Here, when we want to move from the analyst to IT man, we need to translate the processes to IT solution. We need to translate the processes to IT solution. So we need to document a template, can be a common language between two teams, and help two teams to understand what they want, what the requirement, how they can meet the requirement, etc. The name of this document is implementation document. We'll talk about the implementation document in BPM course and show you some sample about that. When we talk about the implementation, you should pay attention to BPMS, ERP, RPA, any other tools that can help to automate automate the processes. Processes should be happen in a software or sometime automatically by RPA or other tools or aspect. I don't talk about that. Just I want to talk about some point. You should consider it should not start with complex or critical processes, because the risk of these processes is high and you need more time to implement the processes. And traditional organization may need to start with simple and decentralize the processes. You should establish the process organization, create value for your organization by processes. After that, dive to any other processes. But the first step, first process is very important. You should create a sustainable journey for your organization for BPM. The success of BPM project in early stage is very important. Some attribute for the BPM as just a scheme of them. For example, should have a task dashboard, form engine, policy, business rule, process designer, or the BPM transformer tools. You should create or automate processes by drag and drop and a bit coding or programming works, and help you to control the processes and have some dashboard to control the processes. At the same time, some other dashboard for manager know about the special KPI. Also, they should help you to design the processes and show you some bottleneck of processes. It's all of them is attribute of processes. Support the BPM and very other aspect. In most of BPMS, the first step you design process. After that, design the form. The third is business rule. Determine the business rule for each processes. Assign rule for each task. After that, integration between the processes and other approaches or other software. Create integration in your organization. I talk about that in second video. And the last, execute the processes. Execute in the operational test environment. After that, in operational environment. And you should know that everything logs in BPMs and it's a gradual development. We are a small business. After that, we should grow. We grow. Our process can be changed. One important factor that all business tend to BPM. Can you remember what is this? The flexibility. The processes are flexible. Can grow by ourselves. When we are growing or change anything inside, the processes can be changed. Anytime, any change can be managed by the processes. Also can create integration with other system, connect to other system by API or web service, getting data, insert data, or etc. And create some dashboard. Do you know the meanings of this picture? You can guess. Yeah, here is red. Probably are some problems. Or you can read other dashboards. You can create dashboard by, for example, here by Camunda heat maps, here by Bizaji, BAM, here by Process Maker, or other tools is similar. And it's important, finally, for us to select the suitable tools. I emphasize to suitable tools, not the best tools. Many organizations just follow what is the best tools, what they said Gartner, what is the leader. Okay, is it suitable for you? It's the best. Is it suitable for you? Can meet your requirement? You should create a matrix for decision and use a steering committee to scoring. Write the name of vendor and attribute. Here some technical and non-technical criteria, and by scoring select your suitable choose. Tool selection is very important. Be very curious and sensitive about that. It's very important. When the processes are automated, the possibility of monitoring and controlling is much higher compared to manual methods. Thank you, all of you. If you want to attend to mini BPM course, just subscribe on my YouTube channel and follow. Good day. Bye bye.